Welcome into another episode of Betting the Pitch. I'm your host, the real underscore G Warner on Twitter. If you're on Twitter or StreamYard, wherever you are, please smash the like button if you could. Would really appreciate that, of course, or retweet or anything like that. Hit the follow button. That would be nice. If you're on Apple Podcasts, please leave a 5-star review. Same thing for Spotify. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. We're trying to grow this thing as much as we can. This is the weekend edition, weekend episode for Betting the Pitch. We're going to go through the English Premier League, La Liga, Serie A in Italy, Bundesliga in Germany, and then also Ligue before we get out of here. Also going to pick a best bet for each of the leagues, and of course, an ultimate best bet coming end of show. A selection from one of the top picks from each of the leagues. Been pretty hot lately. Had a very good midweek. Cup matches were a little bit light, a little bit hard to watch, but didn't really hurt me. Very happy to do that. Got my fresh Egypt Mo Salah jersey on. Thank you to my aunt for getting that to me. I'm sad that we didn't go to Egypt personally, but anyway, I guess that's how it goes. All lines quote on this podcast, courtesy of betonline.ag, my favorite place to get my bets down early. Reduced juice is offered on almost every game you want to bet right up until game time. Please follow the link found in the podcast description to fund your account and use promo code GW50 to receive a 50% match bonus up to $1,000. So now that I've given some money out, let's jump right in to the Premier League, and we'll start. There's no Friday match this week, which is probably good for because I haven't even thought about my FPL team. I don't know if anyone's still playing that. It's been ridiculous this year. I feel like all the good moves I've made, everyone else has made the same one. West Ham hosts Chelsea in the opener on Saturday morning, bright and early, 6:30 a.m. Dallas, Texas time. West Ham a quarter goal underdog at home, over unders 2.25. It's a pretty small number, I think, based on who West Ham are this year and how much pressure is on David Moyes. I don't know if he loses this match, if he loses his job as well, but certainly not a happy camp over there. I think he's been kind of persuaded by the board to start playing some of these new signings they spent so much money on, because it couldn't get worse, but he seems really stubborn, and I feel like his time is coming toward a close. If I might have missed that story, if he got sacked, then my bad, but I don't think it happened because he got a good draw at Newcastle. Chelsea, on the other hand, have spent so much money. It's like the new guy trying to buy new toys, not looking good for American businessmen who just like throw out all their wealth and really have no idea what they're doing. So I want to be against Chelsea as much as possible. The problem is I don't know that I necessarily want to do that here with a West Ham side play. So I think if anything, I like under 2.25. It's a pretty short number for a Premier League match, but ultimately it's deserved. So I'll look there. Next, I'll move Arsenal Brentford on Saturday morning. Arsenal a 1.25 goal favorite, over unders 2.75. And Arsenal had a really tough loss at Everton last weekend. Got really in the Sean Dyche army and didn't come out very well. I wonder if that's a young team that's going to struggle with physical sides. Brentford should be one of those, but they're not really as tough, or they don't have a Sean Dyche manager, to put it that way. Brentford, on the other hand, they've been scoring a ton of goals, and I feel like anything above a goal does interest me quite a bit here. I'm certainly not looking to be against Arsenal, but I do feel like a break in momentum is kind of a big deal. Don't really have a lean to under, because I think there could be goals in this one, which does limit my interest in Brentford. But getting more than a goal, losing by this match by a single goal seems very, very possible. I think Brentford can win this match. We'll see what happens with Arsenal's confidence, especially because they are the hunted now. And I think once things start to teeter-totter, it can go really poorly for a team that hasn't been in this position. Next, we have Crystal Palace hosting Brighton, currently Palace, a 0.5 goal underdog at home with all the juice, over unders 2.5, juiced all to the under. Brighton have been awesome this year. Despite changing managers, selling players, it doesn't really seem to matter. Crystal Palace, a great home team, but it has not looked so good this season. Haven't looked good away either, so I guess they're better home splits, but still a concern. I think I'm more interested in the under than anything in this one. I don't know that I love it, but Crystal Palace just don't really seem like a team that can score goals to me. They seem very fortunate in some of the draws that they pull out from their you-know-whats. When trailing 1-0, the Manchester United draw comes to mind. I do think Brighton, they've been scoring a ton more goals, and I think they should. So I feel like there's some value potentially on them not scoring very many, but so I guess under 2.5 of my lean there. Fulham then hosts Nottingham Forest. Currently Fulham a half a goal favorite. Over unders 2.25. It feels a little short, despite both these teams being newly promoted. I think Fulham can go out there and kind of name their number, and I don't really feel great about playing unders because Fulham are going to be so front-footed. Nottingham Forest is certainly playing better. Their pragmatic style is working. It's getting them up the table or at least closer to safety. Certainly not safe yet by any means, but Fulham have been great, and I'm not sure I want to be against them, really. They're a team I kind of want to back as an underdog, and I kind of want to look away from as a favorite, though there's a point where they're going to be overpriced as a favorite. Leicester then hosts Tottenham. Currently, Leicester a quarter goal underdog with all the juice on Tottenham on the road, potentially climbing to 1/2. Over-unders 2.75, and Leicester are in transition. They just sold Jose Perez to, I believe it was Real Betis. They are not in great shape, and Tottenham come in off a Man City win, which seemed deserved. I mean, you can say what you want about Tottenham and how they play, and I've certainly said that on this podcast plenty. But I think the way Leicester go is really, I think offensively they're not the same because their players have gotten old and they haven't really rebuilt the squad well enough. And their defense is really problematic. So hard for me to find anything to want to do here because I don't really like the home dog. I don't really like a lot about that one. Southampton then hosts Wolves. Currently Southampton a quarter goal underdog with all the juice right now at home. Over unders 2.25. And I feel like Wolves continue to get underpriced. I'm not sure how big of a favorite they should be here, but I feel like it's trending towards pick'em, and that makes me like Wolves. Certainly not there yet, and wouldn't be something I'd pick for a best bet from the country. But Southampton are a team I want to play against. I'm not afraid of them. I do feel like under 2.25 is probably worth a look because I think what Wolves will be best at really is restricting goals and being aggressive under Julian Lopetegui. And it's been really good so far. I feel like they've had some games that haven't been the results they deserved, but the smashing of Liverpool, I think, was, and really was a reflection of what happened in a cup match that they lost 1-0 a couple weeks before. Bournemouth then hosts Newcastle, the nightcap on Saturday. Bournemouth a 1-goal underdog, over unders 2.5. Newcastle, I don't really trust them to score goals. They're still one of the best teams in the entire Premier League, but I just don't believe in their offense very much. Bournemouth, on the other hand, can't defend set pieces. So that's a big concern because Newcastle are gigantic in their back line. We'll be using that to try to score a ton. Sven Botman hasn't scored enough this year. I think he's going to score a bunch going forward, assuming his head injury is not an issue. Dan Burns, 6'7", is like a monster, should be a goalkeeper on a Premier League pitch, but I think it's going to be a tough situation for Bournemouth. I really like them as underdogs early in the year, but I don't feel that way now. Moving to Sunday, Leeds host Manchester United in a rematch of a match on Wednesday. Hate when the schedules come out like this, but I guess the Queen dying at 97 was something that they were never going to be expected. And I know I've said this before, so I'll move on. Sorry, people. But Leeds a half a goal underdog at home to Manchester United, over unders 2.75. Very juiced to the over. And this is a big rivalry match. Just saw a 2-2 after Leeds had a 2-0 lead, including taking a lead in the first minute. I'm not sure what to expect from this caretaker manager for Leeds. At least I don't think he got the full-time job. Manchester United, they woke up, and unfortunately they should have done a lot better at home against Leeds in a huge rivalry match, and Leeds had just sacked their manager. Maybe they weren't really sure what they were going to get from Leeds, and that kind of got them off to a slow start. I'm not sure, and I'm not going to apologize for Erik ten Hag, but they've been a lot better since a really slow start to the season, and are climbing up, and we're really about to be in a position where they could tie Man City. Unfortunately, dropping points didn't work. I'm sure they're going to be pretty motivated for this one. I don't know what I like, actually. I like this total to climb to 3 because I don't think anyone believes that Leeds are going to suddenly shut up shop and be this really tight defensive team. I don't think that fits well with Manchester United. I think, if anything, I lean over, but it's probably going to move to a full 3 soon enough. Manchester City then hosts Aston Villa, the nightcap on Sunday. Man City a 1.75 goal favorite, over unders 3.25. Aston Villa has not looked great under Unai Emery. They've been really inconsistent. I think it speaks to kind of what the club is built to be, or what the club has been built into. A lot of times just bringing in money and bringing in players doesn't really fit any sort of design or idea. And Unai Emery is going to have to fix that. Now he goes on the road to Man City. It's a gigantic number, seeing 1.75, though, I must say, especially considering how poorly Man City have played. I'm not so afraid of the Etihad at this point either. Certainly will be a huge crowd support, and Man City is trying to get going. But they've missed a lot of opportunities. The offense doesn't seem the same with Erling Haaland. Had to make that signing really as a defensive mechanism to keep him from going other places. But the offense is dried up. Defense is not keeping clean sheets, and I got to say, 3.25 also seems really, really huge for an over-under. Certainly could get there, and Aston Villa's defense does not look great, so that'll probably keep me away. But lean to Aston Villa again, that 1.75 goals, especially if it climbs to 2. Last but not least, Liverpool hosts Everton in a Merseyside derby. Liverpool, a 1-goal favorite. Over-under is 2.75. And I just don't really understand where Liverpool gets these numbers. I mean, Everton are not good, but Sean Dyche has shown that he can mess teams up pretty frequently. And I gotta say, I lean to under 2.75 as well. Liverpool's defense, I don't think will have as many problems with Everton, which might make them a better looking favorite. But sheesh, I mean, writing's on the wall. This Liverpool team looks like they are dead. I'm starting to wonder if Jurgen Klopp's going to leave. Cody Gakpo has not really done much since he came in. Darwin Nunez, they spent so much money on. Weird for Fenway Sports Group to be doing that and then saying they're going to sell the club and spending all this money. I don't know. It's a lot. I'm very confused at what's going on there, and it doesn't make me really feel great. And I guess that'll wrap up my tour across England for this episode. And I'm going to go with the Newcastle under 2.5 as my best bet for this country. I just don't see goals in Newcastle matches, and I see them keeping clean sheets. And I don't think that idea has really changed too much. You probably heard that before in this podcast. Now moving to Spain, we do have a Friday match. Cadiz hosting Girona. Currently, Cadiz a 1/4 goal underdog at home. Over-unders 2.25. I'm not a believer in goals in this matchup. Girona have been a pretty good, newly promoted. Cadiz have deserved better. I think they've been playing pretty well considering who they are, a team that just cedes possession, is trying to stay up and get to 40 points and miraculously have for 2 seasons. I think under 2.25, it's very juiced right now, but that's the way I certainly lean. I think it's going to be hard for either of these teams to score goals. And that makes me think under 2.25 makes a lot of sense. Now I'll move to Saturday. We have Almeria hosting Real Betis. Currently, Almeria a pick'em. All the juice on Betis on the road. Over-unders 2.25, juice to the over. I think I lean under 2.25 here as the most interesting thing to me. Real Betis, their offense hasn't been great. Their defense has been better, but I think they've been trading one for the other a little bit. Almeria have been a really good home team. I do think that they're facing a really good club, though. Real Betis towards the top of the table, fighting for Champions League. I don't know that I feel much more than that under 2.25 is something I really want to do here. Next, we'll move to Sevilla hosting Mallorca. Currently, Sevilla, a 0.5 goal favorite. Over-under is 1.75, juiced to the over pretty heavily. It's weird to see totals under 2, but in La Liga, when every match seems to end 1-0 to the home team, it makes a little more sense. Mallorca, I think, are the side I like here because I've kind of decided not to play anything below 2 as a total, and even 2 is pretty low there as well. But Mallorca coming off a big win. I mean, say what you want, they got to play a pretty reduced Real Madrid side with no Benzema, also with Courtois out. But I mean, credit Mallorca for winning. They got a big save from Rakovic, who I think is an incredible goalkeeper on a penalty, and did what they could to get 3 points. They've been playing really well. Maybe haven't had a great start since the World Cup. But I think that they're going to give Sevilla problems. Sevilla's really, to me, struggling to score. Didn't do anything against Barcelona. Say what you will about that. But I think they got to win this match based on the spread, or obviously they do. So I like Mallorca getting that half. Valencia then hosts Athletic Club in a rematch of the Copa del Rey from a couple weeks ago. Currently, Valencia a 1/4 goal underdog at home with all the juice. Over-unders 2.25. I don't believe in goal scoring this one. The problem is I don't know that I believe a lot in the Valencia defense. So I think from where I sit, I don't really like the 1/4 goal home underdog either. It's tough because I'm like a home dog addict at this point across all major sports, or any sport I bet pretty much. But I don't know necessarily that I like Valencia. I don't really like where the direction the club is going. I don't think the Gattuso firing made a lot of sense, but I know there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. Athletic Club are really tough to trust to score goals, though. So as a road favorite, that does make me interested because this could be goalless. I doubt that happens, but it could. So under 2.25 would be my lean in that one. Moving to Sunday, Getafe hosting Rayo Vallecano, currently a pick'em. and another total under 2, 1 3/4 here, juiced less to the over than Sevilla, but a little bit juiced to the over. Rayo is slightly, I guess, favored on the juice, -113 versus -107. Rayo are a better team. Getafe have real problems, and I don't really think there's anything for me to do here. These lines are ridiculously low for a total, and pick 'em is not really a spot I play a ton in. Celta de Vigo then hosts Atletico Madrid. Currently, Celta a quarter goal home underdog. Over under is 2. Juice to the over. I'm going to be looking to see if this one climbs because I do like both Celta and under here. I think Celta have really shown that they've been playing a lot better lately. The new manager is maybe getting something somewhere, I don't know. And I think I might lean to the Celta side, getting a quarter of a goal at home as a home underdog as opposed to the under 2. It looks like this might climb to 2 1/4, but giving you what we got right now. So lean to Celta getting that quarter. Next, we have Valladolid hosting Osasuna, a pick 'em. Two teams that are not going to do a lot offensively. Over under is 2 here as well. Teams not going to do a lot offensively, so that makes me lean to the under. Probably not unexpected in this league because the totals are so low. But this feels like a match where Valladolid, their problems, they've been scoring goals at the end of matches lately instead of giving them up, which is huge for them trying to stay in the league. I really hope they do because I love them and I feel like I've had really good success betting their matches. I lean to under 2 in that matchup. Not much for me to do on the side. Last on Sunday is Villarreal hosting Barcelona. Villarreal with a very embarrassing loss at Elche. Barcelona not playing great, but winning, and then got pretty ugly late against Sevilla. Villarreal currently a 3/4 goal underdog. Over under is 2 3/4. And Villarreal, I don't like their manager Quique Setién, former manager of Barcelona, when literally you just bet against Barcelona every time they played and it cashed. That was a different time where they're financially the struggles were coming out. This is certainly a different side. Barcelona with an 8-point lead in La Liga and looking really good with plenty of confidence, yada, yada, yada. Villarreal are not a team I want to back right now. They've been better at home since they actually played in their home stadium after the World Cup, but things have not been looking good, and they've been making really big mistakes. And unfortunately, Villarreal look like a side that lost their manager and are completely lost right now. Espanyol then hosts Real Sociedad. Currently, Espanyol a quarter goal underdog at home. Over under is 2. I don't see goals in this one, I will admit, but I don't really want to fade Real Sociedad, I got to say. So I think my options are under here, and under 2 is not really a great feeling. It's very juiced the over, so we might see this climb to 2 1/4. So that'll be my lean for now. And then Real Madrid hosts Elche, coming off the Club World Cup, whatever the heck that is, but another money grab. And Real Madrid are playing a lot of matches. Their players are getting hurt. That's not great. Currently, Real Madrid, a 2-goal favorite with all the juice right now to Elche. Over under is 3. So they're not expecting much from Elche, to say the least. I lean under, if anything, here. I don't know what this Real Madrid lineup is going to look like. I don't know if they care about the Club World Cup. They probably do because it's a trophy. And for some reason, the sport, no matter what type of trophy it is, it really matters, whether it's a Saudi Arabia like Steel Money trophy. This is probably another one of those. I guess leaned under, but I mean, I have no idea what the Real Madrid team is going to look like for that one. It might not matter, but Elche is starting to get some momentum and they need it because they were very far adrift at one point. Now we'll move to Serie A. Currently on Friday, we have AC Milan hosting Torino. Milan have been playing so poorly that I don't know how you can look to do anything but go against them. Torino currently a very juiced 3/4 goal underdog on the road. Over under is 2 1/4. And I really like Torino. I think I haven't had a great success lately with them. They score goals when I have unders out of nowhere. They come back and win matches when I have the underdog, and it's been brutal. But I like the way Torino have been playing because they've been fisting me, basically, unfortunately. That might be a little appropriate for this type of pod. But anyway, there we go. Sorry, people. Sorry, family who's listening. But I don't really believe in Milan. I don't believe in their defense. Their offense has been pretty dry. Rafael Leao seems like the only guy there, but is certainly distracted by transfer rumors. So I like Torino getting that 3/4. Empoli then hosts Spezia on Saturday. Empoli a -1/2 favorite at home. Over under is 2 1/4, juiced very much to the over. And I like Spezia. I feel like they haven't really had a great run lately. Empoli just aren't really a team that I like. 2-goal leads don't seem safe for them. Their defense doesn't seem great. Newly promoted from 2 seasons ago. They don't seem like the same squad because they've lost a lot of people on loan that were playing well, got taken back. They haven't done enough. And I think Spezia getting a half of a goal seems a little bit too high to me there. Lecce then hosts Roma. Currently, Lecce a half a goal underdog at home. Over-under is 2. Juice to the over. Lecce have not been playing great either. Had a really good run for a while, but it's kind of tailed off since then. Roma had a really embarrassing flame out in the Coppa Italia, but ultimately their defense has been really good. I think the total at 2 is pretty low for Italian soccer, I got to say. But I think that'd be my strongest lean in this one. I don't know that I feel that great about Lecce, though home dogs do tempt me. I'll put it that way. Lazio then hosts Atalanta. Currently, Lazio a quarter goal favorite. Over under is 2.5. Lazio haven't looked great. They haven't. Pretty ugly performance against Verona. Should have lost that match, but took a 1-0 lead out of nowhere, basically, and then didn't hold on for a victory against Verona, who basically looked like relegation fodder this whole season. Atalanta, I mean, they've had a little bit of a lull in form as well. Both these teams probably licking their wounds a little bit. If anything, I lean to Atalanta getting that quarter of a goal. It's very juiced right now. And I wonder if this one does fall to pick them. That'd be pretty disrespectful for Lazio at home, but wouldn't be shocked. Over under 2.5 feels very low for this matchup, considering how far these defenses have fallen, especially Lazio, who were at one point, I think, leading the league in goals conceded, the fewest goals conceded. Doesn't feel like that way since. Udinese then hosts Sassuolo on Sunday morning. Udinese a half a goal favorite. All the juice on Sassuolo on the road. Over under is 2 3/4. And Sassuolo have been playing really well. Udinese, not really so much. Over under 2 3/4 feels a little bit low for any Sassuolo match because they are not known for their defense. But Sassuolo keep selling their players and they keep somehow winning matches or at least showing up. It wasn't looking good for a while, but they've been pretty hot. Smash Milan, which I guess a lot of teams are doing right now, but lean to Sassuolo getting that half of a goal. No real fill for the total. Bologna then hosts Monza. Currently Bologna a quarter goal favorite. Over under 2 1/4. Coming off a big win at Fiorentina. Don't really know where goals come from for Bologna, and they had a red card and still survived. Incredible. I think one took a lead with a red. Incredible. Just a lot of incredible stuff going on. Monza, on the other hand, newly promoted, that have Berlusconi's big money behind them. He's offered to buy prostitutes for when they beat Juventus. And I think they did. So maybe he did. Who knows? There's some diseases running around the club right now, but no reports on that. And I guess it wouldn't be appropriate to speculate. So Monza getting that quarter of a goal is where I lean. Does feel pretty short to me, I got to say. Like preseason, this is probably a half or even higher. But I don't really believe in the Bologna offense. I don't really like the under here, though, because I think Monza can score goals. So that's a pretty good combo for a team that I think can score on the road against a team that I don't think can. On the road, not great, but they got to be an underdog somewhere. Juventus then hosts Fiorentina. Juve, a half a goal favorite. Starting to look like they're turning the corner. No idea what's going on with their 15-point deduction, but they're playing well. Fiorentina is still our team I don't trust offensively. Their defense is okay. I guess I lean to under 2.5, if anything, here, because I don't think Fiorentina are really on my list of a team I want to back. Next, we'll go Napoli hosting Cremonese. Top versus bottom, I believe. Napoli a 2.2 goal favorite. Over under 3 1/4. I don't really want to have anything to do with this one. I'm not looking to fade Napoli at all. And then moving to Monday, we have 2 matches. We have Verona hosts Salernitana. Currently, Verona a half a goal favorite. Over under and very juiced to the over, or excuse me, to Verona's side. Over under is 2.5. I'm starting to wonder. Verona's been playing so well since the World Cup break. This does feel like they're getting priced a little bit more highly than they should, but the play has deserved it. So I guess I lean to Salernitana getting that half, but I don't think they're really that close to making my pick from this league. I'll say, and I really hope I did a best bet for Spain. Now that I think about it, but if I didn't, I'll summarize. End of show. Anyway, last but not least, Sampdoria hosts Inter Milan. Sampdoria 1 1/4 goal underdog at home. Over under is 2.5. I just don't know that I trust Sampdoria enough. They played well midweek. I think got a win, surprisingly, which is rare for them, but they're trying to fight relegation. Inter, our team, I've not had great success fading. I still don't think they're very good, but I do think they're way better than Sampdoria. I don't know the Sampdoria crowd. I mean, it should be pretty big because this is a big spot for them, big match for them, all that sort of stuff. I don't really have a feel for the total. So for my best bet for Italy, I'm going to go with Sassuolo getting half of a goal. I feel like we might not have that number for too long. So if you like that side, you'd probably jump on it now, early match Sunday against Udinese. They've been playing a lot better. Udinese have not been playing very well. And I guess I'll finish. And if I didn't say my best bet for Spain, I'll go Mallorca getting half of a goal at Sevilla. Now we'll move to the German Bundesliga. We have a Friday match, Schalke 04 hosting VfL Wolfsburg. Currently, Schalke a half a goal underdog at home with all the juice right now, or almost all of it. Over under is 2.5. I lean to under 2.5. I don't see goals in this one. Wolfsburg had a lot of goals in their last match with Bayern, but that's what happened in Bayern matches. I think they're going to do their best to make this a lot less goal intensive. They have been scoring a lot since the break, pounded Freiburg. But Schalke are fighting to try to stay in the league, and they're going to try to restrict every yard of the pitch, basically, as much as they can to try to keep Wolfsburg out. I don't think Schalke have a really good path to goals. Set pieces, maybe fluke penalty, I guess. But I just don't know if the home team can score. That does get a little bit ugly, though, if Wolfsburg take a lead. But I just don't really see 3 goals from Wolfsburg, and I think Schalke will get shut out. Moving to Saturday, we have Bayern München hosting Bochum. Currently, Bayern a 2.5 goal favorite. Over under is 4. Gigantic total, especially compared to the 1.75s you're seeing in La Liga. But Bayern will do that to you, and at home. And Bochum's road defense has been a disaster. Plus, they played midweek. All bad things. Bochum had a really tough match midweek. I mean, what is their goalkeeper doing? Other than yelling at the ref and his teammates and then making dumb mistakes. Anyway, I'll let that one go for now. Move to Mainz hosting Augsburg. Currently, Mainz, a half a goal favorite with almost all the juice right now. Over under is 2 3/4. And there have been some pretty high totals in the Bundesliga, but I don't know where this match is getting 3 goals. Augsburg don't play great defense, but they don't really have much offense. Mainz are more of a physical side that try to score goals from out of nowhere. I don't feel great about goals in this matchup, I got to say. I'm not sure I like Augsburg as a dog, I will admit. Freiburg then host VfB Stuttgart. Currently, Freiburg a half a goal favorite with all the juice almost on their side. Over under 2.5. Freiburg have been pretty inconsistent. They did get a win in the DFB Pokal. Important for them to move on in the cup. But Stuttgart are going to go in there and they're going to try to go guns blazing. Labadia does not play defense. He said that his team can't defend. So there's a lot of danger there in backing a Stuttgart tied on the road, trying to outscore Freiburg, who've been so good at home. Don't really have a feel for the total. Hoffenheim then hosts Bayer Leverkusen. Hoffenheim, I mean, when is their manager getting sacked? If it hasn't happened already, they're currently a quarter goal underdog at home with all the juice. Over under is 3. I don't have any interest in the home team that was formerly a really good home team, but now is shipping 5 goals to VfL Bochum on the road. Not great. Always have had road problems and should have a response here. Over under is 3. I think they're expecting goals in this matchup. I'd over, if anything, is my lean, but I don't even know that I trust Hoffenheim to score that much, unfortunately. Next, we have Werder Bremen hosting Borussia Dortmund, a huge, I guess, revenge factor, considering Dortmund were up 2-0, I think, in the 85th minute and lost the match. The first time they played at home, no less. And Dortmund coming off a pretty big derby victory, DFB Pokal. Don't know if that puts them in a great position. Werder Bremen currently a 3/4 goal favorite or underdog at home, which, as everyone who listens to this knows, I love those. Just a little bit more to Werder Bremen than to Dortmund at the moment. Can't imagine this will climb to a full 1, but if it does, I will be on Werder Bremen. And I do like Werder Bremen as it is anyway right now. Over under is 3.25, and that's pretty high for that type of total that I don't really see that many goals coming from, especially from a Dortmund team that are trying to bounce back off a cup match midweek. Leipzig then hosts Union Berlin. Currently, Leipzig a 3/4 goal favorite in the lone match Saturday evening. Over under is 2.25. I don't know necessarily that I trust Union Berlin to go on the road and score a lot. I think I want a +1 here. I don't have that right now. I don't know if we'll get it. Leipzig are also a tough team to fade at home. I got to say, they're really scary. Under 2.25 seems a little low to me, honestly. So I might not even have a lean on this one, at least until Union get to +1. And even then, that might be one of those danger scenarios you might want to avoid. Moving to Sunday, Hertha Berlin hosts Borussia Mönchengladbach. Currently, Hertha a 1/4 goal underdog at home with all the juice. Over under is 2 3/4, juice to the under. I don't trust Hertha at all to score goals, but I also don't really trust their defense. They look really bad. They look like a team that's going down. They've been flirting with it for a long time, and I wouldn't be shocked if they did. Borussia Mönchengladbach, they're going to play a counterattacking style, though. Hertha Berlin are going to be like chained to their back 18-yard box. So maybe under 2.75 looks the best in that one. Certainly would love a 3 there. But I think Gladbach unders are worth looking at because they're not really a front-footed team. And for playing a team that also is going to try to counterattack you, it's like two teams that don't want the ball counterattacking, and that doesn't usually lead to a lot of goals. Last but not least, we have FC Köln hosting Eintracht Frankfurt. Currently at Köln, a pick'em at home. Slightly more juice on the road team Eintracht, coming off a pretty tough battle against the leaders of the Schweizer Liga, second Bundesliga in Germany. Did get a win, moved on, but it was not easy, as a 4-2 final would suggest. Also don't love seeing them score 2 goals before Kevin Trapp even had a save. Over-unders 2.75 in this one. Köln are going to be aggressive. I just feel like I can't play unders with them. So there's not a lot for me to do with that one, I don't think. And for my best bet in Germany before we move to France and then hopefully get through and get everything together, I'll go with Werder Bremen getting 3/4 of a goal. I think they are I think they're in the best position of any of these numbers. Love them at home underdog. Would love +1, but not even sure I really need it to play. Now move to France, the last league of the day. Going to go through, summarize with one best bet from each country, ultimate best bet. So stick with us. With me, I guess there's no us here. I guess it's us, all of us collectively. Anyway, back to Nice, hosting Ajaccio. Currently Nice a 1-goal favorite. Seems a little short to me, considering how well Nice have played with a big win on the road at Le Orange Velodrome against Marseille last week in big derby. Maybe that will limit them a little bit here, but I doubt it. Over-under is 2.25, juice to the under. I don't think Ajaccio has a really good chance here. So I think they're at best trying to not allow a lot of goals, but I think Nice can score a bunch. So probably a pass on that one. Moving to Saturday, Monaco hosts PSG in a huge matchup. Wow. And actually pick them right now. Monaco and juice even both ways, -110. I mean, whoa, what a surprise that is. PSG, I'm sure a lot of people will be backing them. So I'll be looking for some ASM, Association Sportif, Monaco, I believe. If they climb above that to 1/4 of a goal, still seems really cheap to me. Over-unders 2.75. There's goals expected. Monaco don't have a huge crowd. Will probably be a lot of Parisians in the crew because everyone wants to go to Monaco apparently. But that line is pretty respectful for Monaco. We'll see how far this one moves. And PSG, I mean, got knocked out of the cup midweek on the road at Marseille. Monaco, I think, was already eliminated. So not a great sign for PSG, especially with Bayern Munich coming up. Champions League certainly on their mind. Maybe that's what this line is pointing to. Though PSG are not safe in Liga at all right now. So I don't know. That's a puzzler. I'll put it that way. Clermont Foot then hosts Marseille. Currently Clermont a 3/4 goal underdog at home. Over-under is 2.5. Juice to the under. Clermont have been really strong, and I really like what they've put together this season, especially because the marketplace doesn't seem to respect them or trust them at all. I think Marseille's offense has been good this year. They're a little bit less trustworthy on the road, and how much did they celebrate after a Le Classique victory? You never know. Hoping this one hits +1 before kickoff, and then I'll be on Clermont, I would expect. Moving to Sunday, Toulouse hosting Rennes. Currently Toulouse a 1/4 goal underdog at home. Over-unders 2.75. And I got to say, Toulouse, they have been playing a lot better since the restart. I think they needed the World Cup break. It was not going well into it. Rennes, on the other hand, just keep losing players. Terrier was still a big injury. They replaced him with Toko Ekambi from Lyon, and he's been good, but choking up a lead they had the whole match against Lille and then losing was really bad. I'm a little worried. I do have a future on them to finish in a European position in France, which I believe is top 5. Even money, and it looked like that was almost a guarantee earlier this season. It's not looking so good right now. I do think they're going to have a lot of space to score against Toulouse, but I don't necessarily trust Rennes right now. And I think over 2.75 is probably the way I'd go in this one, because not a lot of defense is going to be played in this one, or teams that don't care about defense. Montpellier then hosts Brest. Currently Montpellier a 1/4 goal favorite at home. Over-unders 2.5. Stade Brestois have been really great. They've been cashing all the tickets I've been putting out there. Montpellier's got a really tough defensive situation. That situation is they don't play defense, don't have really an interest in the total, but lean to Brest as an underdog. think that's one I might just play now and see where this number moves, because I think it will more likely to close a pick 'em than getting a better number at a quarter. Lille then hosts Strasbourg. Currently, Lille a 1-goal favorite with all the juice. Over unders 2.5. Lille lost in the cup midweek. Went to penalties and had a huge comeback to get from 2-0 to equalize, and then looked like they should have won the match in regulation, but then lost in penalties. I don't know if the road matchup situation hurt them there. Strasbourg, on the other hand, a 1-goal underdog. They are not a good team, and they have had a lot of trouble, especially after a really good season last year. I don't know that I necessarily am afraid of fading Lille, though, off of a huge comeback. An extra match they played midweek, all that sort of stuff. And they also seem to fall behind a lot in matches. Playing the 17-year-old at center back has really not worked out. His teammates have not been helping him. But I don't know if Jose Font is injured because he came on at halftime in the cup. I don't know how much his legs look like, but I guess the more I talk about this, the more interested I could come in Strasbourg, though I didn't expect that before I started talking out loud to all of you. Angers then hosts Alger. Currently, Angers a quarter-goal favorite. Over unders 2.25. Angers are not very good, but Angers haven't won in I don't know, half a season now. It feels like 13, 14 matches, something like that, and they keep being favored. It's almost like insulting at this point that the market keeps betting Angers, because they are way at the bottom and their 4 teams are getting relegated. So I wonder at what point they give up and just be like, all right, well, we got to figure out where we're going next year, because we're not going to be playing in this league and we're not going to Ligue 2. Angers are not a great team, but they're going to go out there and they're going to defend. They're going to try their best to keep Angers off the scoreboard. I think that's a good way to play. That's how I want my underdogs to be. So lean to Angers. Reims then hosts Troyes. Currently, Reims a 1-goal favorite. Under is 2.75, and that's a gigantic number for Will Still. But they're unbeaten and they've been playing really well. Troyes' defense has been really scary. Not really interested in total or that +1, even though that full goal seems gigantic for Reims. And now that I keep talking, I am a little bit more interested in Troyes, but ultimately I don't want to be on them, because I've not had great success with them other than a win at Strasbourg. I think they love the late 93rd minute goal that killed my +1 against Lyon. I've not felt great about that. Anyway, that's enough Troyes talk for this episode. Move to Football Club Nantes hosting Lorient, both off of cup matches midweek. Lorient on Thursday, so they got a really quick turnaround and dropped penalties at home. Brutal. Especially after equalizing pretty late. Nantes a half-a-goal favorite at home. Over under is 2.25. And I just don't know where this number comes from. Certainly with more rest, that's a good thing. But Jesus, I mean, Lorient is so hated by the marketplace in Liga. It's honestly incredible. I've been backing them a ton this year. They've certainly far outperformed expectations and continue to. Nantes have not been scoring enough goals, so I don't really know where this line comes from. Getting half of a goal is gigantic, and that's silly in my humble opinion. Last but not least, Lyon hosts Lens. Currently, Lyon a quarter-goal favorite at home. Over under is 2.5. Lens, I mean, they got a big win on the road in the cup. In a penalty shootout, as did Lyon, but at home. But Lyon had an extra day to rest. They're not home. This is going to be a fireworks fest. Lens are going to go there and try to score goals. They have not been playing very well lately. I keep fading Lyon with mixed results. I'm not sure I believe in them either. At Pick'em, I'm not playing this one. At a quarter, I think I lean to Lens, but that's basically saying that these two teams are even, and it's like essentially a home court advantage, home crowd advantage type line. Over under 2.5. I would lean over there, but I don't believe that these two teams with a very go forward mentality, that their offenses have been good enough. So a lot of question marks for me in this one. I think I ultimately lean to Lens getting that quarter, but I'm not sure I'm not sure I love it just yet. And I'm not sure I want to play it with a very heavy juice right now when it might fall to pick them. Might be just one of those I watch. For my best bet for Ligue 1, I'm going to go with Angers getting a quarter of a goal from Angers. I just don't trust Angers, and they haven't won forever. And I feel like in the path of least resistance, I'd like to fade bad teams that are going down because they're going to have the most trouble winning. And so that brings us now to the end of the show. Hang around. I'll summarize the best bets for each of the leagues and come up with an ultimate best bet. So here we are, episode number 167 to Betting the Pitch. I'm your host, the real underscore G Warner, on Twitter, Instagram, wherever you're watching. Thank you. I appreciate it. Not on TikTok, maybe someday. For my best bets across the 5 European soccer leagues, like Newcastle under 2.5 in England. In Spain, Mallorca getting half of a goal from Sevilla. Sassuolo getting half of a goal on the road at Udinese. Werder Bremen getting 3/4 of a goal at home versus Borussia Dortmund. And last but not least, Angers getting 1/4 of a goal from league bottom in Ligue 1, Ligue 1, Angers. I'm going to go for my ultimate best bet for this episode, number 167. I'm going to go Angers getting 1/4 of a goal on the road at Angers. Just an Angers team that haven't won, I think, 14 matches now. I don't trust them. No one should. They keep being favored, and it's honestly one of the easiest bets out there. It might lose. I mean, streaks only end once, however, and I've been riding it for a long time. So take Angers, a newly promoted, plus 1/4 of a goal on the road at Angers. Hope for a draw or hope for a win. And that'll do it for this episode of Betting the Pitch. Thank you all for tuning in. You can follow me on Twitter, the real underscore G Warner. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. If you're on Apple Podcasts, please leave a 5-star review. I'll read it on the podcast. I forgot to do that today. Same thing for Spotify. We'll check those out as well. As always, thanks for tuning in. College basketball has been up and down lately, but had a really nice day on Thursday. Hope you're all with me on that one. And I guess this is how we're going to do it. Just keep fighting our way through it, hopefully stacking some wins, getting some good results as we get closer to Champions League coming up, and that's going to be great. So talk to you all soon. Thanks so much for watching.